Hello, peeps. So, very interesting that this may be the noisiest day that has ever been in our place, ever. Just as I'm going live. So that's great, isn't it? Hey, this is what happens. This is life, isn't it? That's not a lot you could do about it, really. So I'm Lee Vallely, and welcome to Spread Happy, and I'm going to talk about really something that ridiculously I didn't put the two together. And I've done this in the past, and I've done it again. I told you on the last video. So if you haven't watched the last video, please watch that because it gives you an idea of where we're going with this. But as in the last video, it's like I followed the Thor diet, like within 5 years, I'd put on so much weight and just got completely out of it. I mean, you got to remember, I was a health coach for 20 years. So you can imagine, I was in the health industry for 20 years. I was a personal trainer for 15 of those 20 years. So, I mean, I'm very up on nutrition, on health, on diet, nutrition, same thing, but on health, on the best exercises, and so on. For specifically for weight loss, although I covered many areas, it was that was obviously one of my main focuses was weight loss, as in fat loss and looking good and so on. And yet, I ended up 5 years later in the same boat as the very people that I was helping all those years ago, It's not that many years ago, but 5 years ago. And it's incredible how the basics always help you. Because I got suckered into the latest fad diet. I got suckered into, I got to do something. And, we get into like this emergency feeling like we got to do something. We got to do it now. And it's got to, I just got to eat water for the next 3 months. And it's crazy because if we strategically and if we easily just allow ourselves to get back on track, then our life is so much easier and it's so much more effortless. You can have effortless weight loss. You can have an effortless, healthy body. And I'm going to prove it. And there's no charge. I'm just doing this on the Facebook Live up until our weekend that's coming up on August the 1st. And I'm going to show you what happens with me. And I'm going to put myself out there so that you can ask me any questions, anything that you want. And follow me and see how it goes. Because I'm telling you, you follow this, your life is going to get so much easier and you're going to get what you want. And if it's weight loss, you're going to get that. If it's a healthier body, you're going to get that too. That goes part of it. So, what am I talking about here? What's different to what I'm saying, what I'm suggesting? Well, what I'm suggesting is that you have the best nutritionist, and I don't like to brag, but you have the best nutritionist for you on the planet right here, right now. Right here, right now. And it's not me. It's you. You are the best nutritionist on the planet for you. By the way, you are also the best pharmacist on the planet. You are also the best exercise physiologist on the planet for you because nobody knows your body and you better than you. Now, I'm not talking about you here because you here is just a combination of all the things that people have taught you, right? This is like our computer, our laptop. But you take away the internet, the only thing on that laptop is what people have put in, what we have put in, right? But what I'm talking about you is you tapped into the internet. You tapped into your GPS so that you know what's happening in your body. You know what foods are good for you and what foods are bad for you. And I'm not talking about veggies are good, cream cakes are bad. I'm not saying, cream cakes are fine in moderation. Now, if you ate cream cakes the whole time, you probably got a problem, right? The point is that we put so much energy, and isn't it amazing that when we're on diets, all we ever think about is food, you know? And when we tell ourselves that these are bad foods, that we want them all the more. Isn't it crazy? Now I got a little confession because I started a week early, which does not make any difference to you guys because I started a week early, but oh, that's one other thing I must say. Please be patient on this because you need a little time with this. It's not a quick fix. It's not a get lose 10 pounds in 10 days because guaranteed 10 days later you've probably put those 10 pounds back on and you've messed up your metabolism so to speak. As I said in the other video, what's incredible is studies have shown over and over and over again that those people that diet are worse off than people that have never dieted in their lives. That just blows my mind. That it's so upsetting because I've done that. I've dieted all my life, and to think that I've done myself more harm than good is just so upsetting. And beyond that, I mean, with my clients, I've seen it time and time again. They're just in absolute tears. It's just like, tell me, what can I do? They're just at the end of their tether. So have a little patience on this because I know I've done this in the past and I sort of lost it and I've come back to it. I know that this works. And the reason it works is because it's absolutely specific to you, not to me, not to anybody else, specific to you. Now hold that thought for 1 second because I must have a sip of coffee. I mean, it's just, you know how it is, coffee lovers, right? I even had just a little bit of grass-fed milk in there. I added the grass-fed just because my guilt was coming up, even though I'm trying to get rid of that, right? All right, so I've rambled on for the first 8 minutes. Okay, so I did start a week early because what I did was I set myself a little target. Years ago, I used to do intermittent fasting. And what I would do is 2 days a week initially. And then as I lost the weight and got to where I wanted to be, just 1 day a week. But initially 2 days a week, I would fast for 24 hours, which sounds horrendous, doesn't it? But basically, let's say I would fast on the Friday. Thursday night, I would have my meal. And then Friday, I wouldn't eat again until the following evening meal, right? So your sleep is included. Your work is everything's included, right? 24 hours. But now what I've found is that I like to give myself just a window of opportunity. Again, none of these are prescriptions, by the way. This is just what I'm doing. It might not work for you, might not suit you. But what I'm doing is last week, I stopped eating at 7 p.m. That seems a little early for a lot of you, maybe. So you can make it 8 p.m. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just telling you what I did. 7 p.m. Now, I got to tell you that twice I broke those rules. Oh, only slightly. I went over to maybe 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. Because we had guests last night. It was Father's Day. And one of the nights we went to the iPic and we ate something a little over 7 p.m. But the rest of the time we stuck to it, 7 p.m. And it actually really helped First of all, it stopped me going into the kitchen. I'm pointing here because our kitchen's here. It stopped me going into the kitchen and, you know, snacking at night. Even if it's good snacks, I'd be snacking at night, but it was habit. It wasn't because I was hungry. It was just habit. Well, what's happened as a consequence of that, I found that I'm sleeping a lot better simply because I'm not, got digesting food late at night. And as a consequence, that's helped me to start to get into a good sleeping pattern. I woke up nice and easy. So it really helped in that sense. That's just something I'm doing. I started that last week. Now, this week, what I'm actually doing is I'm giving myself an 8 hour window. So this is another form of intermittent fasting. So I'm still stopping at 7 and I'm not starting to eat until 11 o'clock. Now I can have coffee, tea. I even had, a little breaking the rules somewhat, but I had a little celery juice this morning. But I won't actually eat any solid food until 11 o'clock, and then I'll stop at 7. Now, for me, that's just given me a nice, simple guideline. Have you noticed? I haven't said I'm cutting out any foods. I haven't said I could eat solidly 11 till 7 if I could and if I wanted to, right? There's no restriction on that. But I'm starting to set my body back into making its own decisions, back into listening to the natural cries of the body, because your body will tell you what it needs. So I'm going to leave you with that for the time being. That's just something I did. But you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to do that. That's just something I'm doing just to sort of get myself back on track, and it works for me. It might not work for you. I want to leave you with these little things. For this week, you are going to love me and hate me in the same breath. Eat what you want, not what you think you should, not what you think you've been told, not what is the latest fad. None of that. Just eat what you want. I'm going to tell you one story and then I'm finishing because I don't want this to be a big, long thing. I want to give you one little thing and then let's keep moving for the week and let's keep going. And in the meantime, send me your questions, send me your comments, send me what's happening with you. Tell me where you want me to go with you. I mean, that's fine. But I promise you, by the time we're finished, you will be tapped into your intuition. You'll know what to eat. You'll know when to eat. You'll know what kind of foods, what kind of amounts. You'll resign from the clean plate club. Eat what you want, not what you think you should have. Now, I'm going to tell you one story, and that is of a study that they did with some 3-year-old kids, and this blew my mind. What they did is they put them in a controlled environment where they could have access to food, any food they wanted, 24/7, no restrictions. Now, can you imagine? 3-year-old kids. They went wild. They were like, Coke, ice cream, candy, sweets. They were wrapping it all over themselves. They were going crazy for a week. For a week. They went crazy for a week. And then they started to even out. And by the end of it was a 28-day survey. And by the end of the 28 days, every single kid was on what we would class as a balanced diet. Now, the reason I say we would class is because they all ate different foods and so on, because we're all different. We all have different tastes. We all have different needs. But every single one of them ate what we would class as a balanced diet. Now, they didn't know what a balanced diet was. They had no preconditionings of what's right and what's wrong. They just knew intuitively what their body needed. That's what you can do. Wouldn't that be so much nicer than suddenly feeling the guilt and the, the effort of, oh man, I've got to start, I can't eat that. I'd love to, but I can't. And, all these horrible things that we go through all the time. We're just going to tap into our intuition and just know. We're just going to know. We're just going to do the right thing. And it will take a little practice. This is why I'm doing it slowly for myself and for yourselves. Okay. So eat what you want. I know it's going to be difficult because you're breaking protocol here. Just eat what you want, anything you want, and then see what happens. You're not going to lose weight this week. That's not the goal. You're going to eventually get to the weight you want. And it's not going to take as long as you think. These little stepping stones are going to make all the difference. So eat what you want. Remember that study where the 3-year-olds ate a balanced diet by the end of it. They went crazy at first, and that's probably what you'll do. Okay? Send me your questions and have a great week. Take care.